Hello friends, welcome to yet another brand new episode of KhelStorys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. This week, for the first time ever, KhelStorys is going to cover cricket exclusively. So we had to make sure that this story is a special one. And what better story than the historic Natwest Final win in England under the captainship of our very own Dada, the Prince of Calcutta, Sourav Ganguly. So, without any further ado, let's get started. There's a saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. If there's any image that can represent Indian cricket's never give up attitude in Ganguly's era, then it is definitely this one. Sourav Ganguly taking off his shirt and waving it at Lord's balcony was the perfect answer to England cricket team's arrogant attitude at that time. But what led Dada to do something that took every cricket fan by surprise? To know the context of this incident, we need to go back to 2001. India hosted England in a 3-match test and 6-match ODI series. The test series ended in a 1-0 victory for India, but the ODI series was a lot more competitive and witnessed a few thrillers. India were 3-2 up after 5 ODIs, which meant the last ODI played at Wankhede would decide the fate of the ODI series. A win would mean a series victory for host India, while a loss will tie the series 3-3, ensuring a moral victory for England. England won the toss and chose to bat first. England were all out within 50 overs, scoring 255 runs. Chasing 256 runs in the final at Wankhede wasn't a Herculean task at all, but it proved to be a tricky one. While wickets fell in regular intervals, Ganguly showed his class and played a captain's knock, scoring 80 runs from 98 balls. It was England's spinner Ashley Giles who took the all-important wicket of Ganguly. After his dismissal, India needed 64 runs in 13 overs, with 6 wickets in hand. It wasn't a big ask for any team, but cricket can really be cruel sometimes. A middle order collapse meant the match went down to the very last over. India needed 11 runs in the 50th over with 2 wickets in hand. England skipper Nasir Hussain entrusted Flintoff to defend the total. India scored 5 runs from the first 3 balls. Throughout the last over, Ganguly was busy biting his nails at the dugout. Unfortunately for India, the match ended with Srinath being clean bowled by Flintoff in the 5th ball of the last over. What followed next was a moment of embarrassment for Indian fans. Flintoff, the hero of the match for England, came up with wild celebrations in the middle and removed his t-shirt in front of thousands of Indian fans at Indian cricket's home ground Wankhede. Ganguly went back into the dressing room with his head down. He was almost in tears during the presentation ceremony that day. It was a moment of disappointment, a moment of humiliation for Indian fans. The pain was real. But like other things in life, Indian cricket fans moved on eventually. But one man couldn't: Sourav Ganguly. In case you are wondering why did KhelStorys give such a vivid detail of that final match in Wankhede, just hang on for a bit. Now, let's fast forward 6 months to 13 July 2002. It was the final of Tri-Series Natwest Trophy in the Mecca of cricket, Lords. But before going into the final match, I want you to take a look at this incredible stat. India had lost all the previous 9 final matches they played in a tournament of 3 or more teams over the past 3.5 years. The South Africans are famously called the chokers, but how exactly would you describe the performance of this Indian team? Anyway, coming back to the Natwest final. Just note the striking resemblance with the final at Wankhede. England won the toss and decided to bat first at Lords. This time England put on a mammoth score of 325 runs. Back in the early 2000s, 300 was a huge score. And any cricket fan who followed India back then knows that India was terrible at chasing. On top of that, India's poor overseas record set the stage for yet another disappointing final. But the body language of the Indian cricketers under Dada was different. The men in blue were not just chasing a target, they were chasing a dream this time. That day, right at the start of second innings, Ganguly had set the stage for India with an aggressive opening partnership with Shiva. The intent was clear from the very beginning. Sourav smashed 60 runs from just 43 balls. When Ganguly got out, India already scored 106 runs within the first 15 overs. But this time too, like the final match at Wankhede, Indian middle order collapsed at Lord's. After being 106 for 1 in 14.2 overs, India was reduced to 146 for 5 after the 23rd over when Sachin was dismissed by Ashley guys. After Sachin's dismissal, many Indian cricket fans were seen leaving Lord's. I am sure quite a few of you had already switched off the television after Sachin got out, a tradition which was very common among cricket fans in the 90s. Little did we know back then that we are going to witness one of the best second innings partnership of all time, a partnership which is still talked about even today after so many years. That day in Lord's, India needed some sort of miracle and two young guns, Yuvraj and Kaif, provided just that. The duo put on a memorable partnership of 121 runs for the 6th wicket, which put India back into the game. When Yuvraj was dismissed for 69 runs, it was still a huge task for India. The visitors needed 59 runs from 50 balls with 4 wickets in hand. Mohammad Kaif held his nerves and got support from Indian tailenders, who chipped in with valuable contributions. The match ultimately went down to the last over. And guess who was the England player to bowl the 50th over? Yeah, you guessed that right, Andrew Flintoff. This time too, Ganguly was seen holding his breath sitting at the Lord's balcony, biting his nails. 2 runs to win for India, 2 wickets for England. Dot ball, and a 2. Kaif jumped in excitement while Flintoff kneeled down in sadness. And Ganguly did exactly the same thing that Flintoff did at Wankhede. He took off his shirt and waved it from the Lord's balcony. The victory of India and the fate of Flintoff had karma written all over it. Some cricket journalists and former cricketers had criticized Ganguly's gesture back then. Sourav himself has regretted his act in several interviews. But we Indian fans simply loved it. Because when Dada took off his shirt that day and then ran onto the field to hug his men, he was busy representing a modern aggressive Indian who knew how to give a befitting reply. It was our Dada who gave a face to Indian cricket and built a team, and this very legacy was successfully carried forward by none other than Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
There was Lakshman standing next to me and Harbhajan Singh standing behind me. So as I was taking the shirt off, Lakshman was pulling it down. He was pulling it down, and then Harbhajan was standing next to me and he's asking me, what should I do? I said, you take it off too.
So that's all for today, guys. Please show some love and support by liking this video and subscribing our channel KhelStorys. As promised, we will be back again next week with a brand new story. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy and keep loving sports. Bye-bye.